This is NDTV, and you're watching Classics.
Who's your favorite person in India today? Right, and that's a random audience. Hello and welcome to this special show. All our prayers, all our hopes are with one man and 14 others, Rahul Dravid and the World Cup. Let's wish him the very best for this World Cup. Thank you. And we have this highly intellectual audience waiting to ask you intellectual questions. Are you ready for it? Tough questions, right? Ready? Okay, we'll come to you in just a moment. But first, let me ask you this. One thing you said on NDTV, which kind of worried us a bit. You said if you win the World Cup, not only will you take off your shirt, you'll take off all your clothes.
Did I say that?
Yes, you did. Are you going to retract?
Yeah, you got to be very careful of what you say, I think, on TV, because it can, you never know when someone might sort of use it on you. But I think it'll be just great to have a good tournament. I think it'll be great to just go out there, play some, very good cricket. And it's exciting. It's exciting for the group. It's exciting for all of us to be part of an event. And if we do win, then let's see what happens.
Whoa, so it's still in suspense, right? But we've got to get it on camera anyway.
Yeah. Maybe people won't want to. They'll sort of, you can have a vote and say.
But you're looking fitter than I've seen you ever, actually. Really working hard at your fitness. The whole team is, I suppose.
I think we are. We've sort of working quite hard over the last 15, towards the last couple of tournaments after we've been back from South Africa. There's been a big stress on fitness and the fielding to try and sort of prepare for this event. And the batting and bowling is coming together as well. So yes, we're in good shape. Hopefully now we sort of go into the World Cup, fresh and really looking forward to the event.
Okay, let's start with questions. Who's got the first question?
I want to ask you a question regarding Robin Uthappa. We all know how talented he is. Like, he's playing the World Cup for the first time. Obviously, there'll be some pressure on him. As a captain, how would you make him feel comfortable? I mean, you both are from the same team, Karnataka. You play for the same team. How do you wish to, suggest him or whatever? Just make him comfortable.
I think, Robin's got to view this as a great opportunity. I think not many young kids get the opportunity to play in a World Cup. Rather than thinking of it as additional pressure, I think Robin's got to see it as a great opportunity in his young career. And that's what, we'll be telling him. We'll be telling them that go out and play your natural game, go out and play what makes you feel comfortable and enjoy it.
What was your first World Cup like?
My first World Cup was exciting. I still remember in England in '99. I was experienced, though. I had played about 3-4 years of sort of international cricket by then. So it wasn't that much of it wasn't that much pressure on me. But there had been a few questions asked about my sort of one-day performance prior to that. So it was important for me to use that as a stage to sort of have a good World Cup. And sort of prove that I could play at that level.
Excuse me about one thing. There used to be these questions about you being slow, but what suddenly happened to Rahul Dravid? Sixes? You've just become an extremely aggressive player. What happened? Something you're eating? Or?
Yeah, it's just in the diet, I think.
I think you want to thank your wife for this.
Yeah, I know. She's sort of giving me the right food. And I think it's just a question of adapting. I think over a period of time, I've grown in confidence as a player. And we are all not the finished articles as soon as we come in. I think very few players come in as finished articles. You need a bit of time. You need to play at this level. You need to have a few ups and downs. You need to learn about it. And as long as you're willing to improve and you're constantly improving and looking for ways to improve, then I think you become a better player. And I think that sort of continues till you finish. Even now I'm looking to improve and
so do you have a lot of self-analysis? And is it very technical? Do you look at your game on the video and say, I did this wrong? Or do you think of it mentally? What happens? How scientific is cricket getting?
Cricket's getting very scientific, but a lot of it, I think, is mental. I know that, a lot of people do use the technology and all that. I do use it, yes, once in a while to look at my batting, but I'm not obsessed by it. I don't, constantly see it, fret about it, because I think, at this level, all of us, especially if you've played for a period of time, you do have the ability and you do have the talent and you have the skills to do it. I think it's a question of getting your mind right. It's a question of how you work on your mind how you keep analyzing your mind. So it's a self-analysis not only about your own cricket, your game, but also about your mind, the way you
So much
think.
in the mind, is it?
It is in the mind. I think after a while it's, it's mental really. The game's about, how you can control your emotions, how you can react, have the right responses in the right sort of situations, in the right pressure. I think that lets you down more than your cricket. And I think if you can get that right, then I think more often than not, you give yourself the best chance to succeed.
So is there room for a team psychiatrist, psychologist?
I think we have experimented with that. We have used that a bit, and I
Or
think
are you the main psychiatrist?
I think the
the
senior players,
teammates?
the senior players do have a big role to play. Like they asked me
But
the
you
question
said you
about Robin.
experimented with it. Sorry, and then?
No, and we have. I mean, we have used it. I've used it personally. The teams used it at various levels. There is a place for it. I think there's a place for it. Whether it's on a continuous basis, I'm not so sure
So
about.
what does the psychiatrist say to
It's not really a psychiatrist. I think it's more a sports psychologist. I think when you say psychiatrist, you get into you think all of us are mental. But no, I think it's just about. I mean,
Like what would they say?
It's just about giving you sort of maybe ideas to sort of responses to react when you're under pressure, and how do you react in certain situations. What's the best response? Giving you ideas on how you can relax, how you can get into the best frame of mind. And the key is to be able to get in the best frame of mind. And sports psychologists, if they work for people, I think they work for some, they don't work for some. It's a highly individual thing in the end of the day.
One of the things they seem to be telling players is when you do something good, really enjoy it, reinforce that good feeling so your memory, so you see people going a bit over the top, right? When
They do, but I think yes, reinforcing your good performances is very critical. I think what we tend to do a lot is reinforce our negatives. I think we spend a lot of time focusing on negatives and poor performances.
Bit of an Indian trait.
It is. I mean, it's probably a trait of anyone in a profession that is demanding, I think, and we need to reinforce the positives all the time, and hopefully we try and do that a lot in our team meetings.
Talking about the question when he said enjoying things and your mental strength, both combined, what about captaincy? Are you enjoying captaincy, or you preferred the carefree days when you were a player?
No, I do enjoy the captaincy. I think I see it as a great honor and a privilege, and I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed everything that comes with it. I think you got to accept that there are going to be tough days as a captain. Not everyone's going to obviously. You do suddenly become from being everyone's sort of good boy to everyone's sort of whipping boy at some stage. But
especially that nasty thing called the media, right?
I mean, they have their role to play, and everyone, I think it's that. I mean, if you're captain India, and it's not personal. I don't take it personally. I mean, there'll be a captain after me, and I think he's going to go through the same thing as well. I mean, the captain before me went through it, the same thing as well. So, it's not about Rahul Dravid. It's really about the position that you inherit, and I think some of the joy comes with that. I mean, comes with learning how to deal with these things and cope with it.
True. Question? Okay, the young girl there in the black and move. Yeah.
Many a times, many individual players are involved in off-field and on-field controversies. There are nasty remarks that are passed, or even actions lead to controversies. So as a captain, how do you deal with it? Is there some suggestions, or you talk it out with the team members, or it's just it goes away like that and the media makes
Or
it
you just use your bat on them?
No, I think when we do talk about these things, but you must realize that cricket's, everyone's trying their best out there. It's highly emotional. You're playing for your country, and things can sometimes get out of hand. We do have an ICC, code of conduct policy, which is really good and sort of keeps a lot of things in check. But people do lose it, sometimes on and off the field, and it does happen. It's part of the sport.
But tell me, when they say there's a lot of gamesmanship. In your ranking people with gamesmanship, where would you put India? Are we aggressive, and are we mild, quiet, good guys?
I think we're pretty aggressive. I think we give back as good as we get. I think a little bit of the sledging is overhyped. I just truly think that, I think it's not as bad as people make it out to be. It's getting better, definitely. I mean, and especially with the new code of conduct and stuff,
people have to watch it.
Yeah, people have to watch it. It's, a little bit of gamesmanship is good fun. I mean, and we indulge in it as much as anyone else does. We give as good. We give as good as we get.
I can't believe you say a nasty remark to anybody. Have you ever?
It doesn't have to be nasty to be gamesmanship. I mean, you can say something like, you can remind someone about how he's got out the last time or the last innings.
That's pretty nasty.
That's not
like,
nasty.
what would you say? Like, what would you say to somebody?
Like, for example, if someone's got out 2 or 3 times to Anil, and if he comes into bat, you might sort of bring Anil on and then, remind him, the close-in fielders might remind him about how he's got out to Anil.
Remember the last time?
Yeah, remember the last time, you nicked it here. Why don't you give, Nick one again? Or sort of, just a little bit of gamesmanship, or, if someone's not informed, then you remind him about, what his form has been recently, and he's not really, sort of just try and, like you spoke about. I mean,
So you say you're really out of form, so sad. I'm so sorry for you, that sort of thing. What do you say?
Let me say that, you might say something like, he's not really in the best of form. Maybe he enjoys the dressing room more than he does the field. So, let's get him back there quickly.
How about this young girl here? Yes, you got a mic.
With the Aussies no more invincible, who do you think will India play against or rather win against in the World Cup 2007?
Thank you.
Right.
I think I mean, I wish it was true, and I'm hoping, and I believe that, if we play well, we can be there in that final. I believe that there are 8 teams that will be competitive in this tournament. There are 8 teams that will truly believe that they can be there in the final that day. Australia will probably start as favourites, but not by much. I think that the gap is close. It's going to be tight, and in an event like a World Cup, anything can happen. So it's going to be a close World Cup, and it's going to be a tough World Cup.
So you say it's more level than it's been before, say in the last 2 World Cups?
I think it's more level definitely than the last 2 World Cups. It's going to come down to performances, though. I think, in the end, it seems level on paper, but there might be 2 or 3 teams that go on a bit of a roll or perform really well during that period. And I hope India is one of them who could take it away from the rest of the opposition.
In the last couple of months, what's made you more happy? India doing well or Australia doing so badly?
I think India doing well. We never really worry about opposition. I mean,
Tell the truth. You must be saying, yes, well done, New Zealand.
No, really. I mean, if you're saying well done, New Zealand, then you've got New Zealand to worry about. So I think you really got to look at your own game and your own team. And what's made me happy, I think, a period of time is our form and the fact that a lot of our players who have been injured are sort of coming out of injury and playing good cricket.
Okay, how about a young man here, right in the front?
Rahul, coach role is very important in World Cup. So from last time, this time the coach is different. So what is one positive thing about that?
I think the coach's role is important, but it's in the end of the day, it's a team. That's the most important thing. It's the players that do the job. The coach cannot go out and bat for you. He cannot bowl for you. He has a specific role to play. It deals with the preparation of the team. It deals with how he sort of gets the team ready to perform on that particular day.
In deciding the team, in deciding strategy, how much coach and how much captain? 50-50, 75% captain, 25%? What's the rough ratio? Not only in yours, just historically.
I don't think you can give a number or a ratio to it.
It's a joint effort.
It's a joint effort between the team, the captain and the coach. Sometimes if you have a selector on tour, you might involve a couple of senior guys. But in the end of the day, I think the final call always lies with the captain. I think, and everyone's clear about that if there's a disagreement, or not a disagreement, if there's a discussion and 2 people sort of don't agree on something,
final call.
The final 11 always rests with the captain, and he's got to make that call, and that's the way it's always,
Generally, isn't it true that the captain always makes the good calls? The bad calls are the coach's fault.
Yeah, I think there's so much of focus and so much of sort of media attention nowadays in the game that a lot of times the coach and the captain, get sort of obviously be seen as as people who've sort of got to make everything right, or are the ones who make everything wrong, which is obviously not the case.
I have a whole lot of email questions from viewers all around the country. They're kind of rapid fire, so you just give quick answers to them. I'll give you them. First of all, somebody wants to know, what's your favorite nickname, Jimmy or The Wall?
I like Jam because that's what I was called as young. The Walls,
You like Jam, right. What's your dream final against West Indies, Pakistan or Australia?
I think Australia. Because we lost to them last time, so...
You want to finish them?
Yeah. And they're the
Maybe
best
your
team in
dream
the world.
final is against Bangladesh.
That's true. Anyone we can beat.
What's your nightmare final?
Somebody other than India in the final.
Your favorite one-day international knock, the 145 in Sri Lanka in 1999 World Cup, or your 153 versus New Zealand?
I think the 145 against Sri Lanka.
That was your favorite. Your son Samit, when he grows up, would you like him to be a cricket captain, a doctor like your wife, or a golfer like Tiger Woods?
Can he be all?
Yeah, you can actually. Doctor, captain.
Yeah, I know.
And
Like
then
golf
go
at
on,
35.
yeah,
And,
that's
yeah.
right.
No, but I think Samit's got to do what he wants to do, and I think there's going to be absolutely no pressure from either me or Vijita about what he's going to do. And
Graham Smith apparently said you're the best looking cricketer around. Do you agree?
yeah.
Is it a...
Coming from Graham Smith, I don't
It's a
know.
bit worrying.
Take it as a compliment.
So I won't carry on with that question, I think. Oh, but the next one says, Rahul Dravid, you prefer to be on the ramp or on the screen?
Neither. I prefer to be at home.
Playing it very safe. I'll ask you again outside. Okay. Rahul Dravid, would you prefer to be behind Dhoni on a motorbike or watching Dhoni on a motorbike?
Watching Dhoni on a motorbike. Motorbikes are not for me.
And Dhoni on a motorbike is even more dangerous.
It's actually, yeah, I mean, not, maybe after the World Cup, after he's finished his career, I don't mind Dhoni on a bike.
What makes you really angry? Bad advice or media questions when they have no clue about what cricket is? Come on, say. Okay, I got the answer. Media. Who's your best captain? They mentioned Mark Taylor, Mike Brilliant, or Imran Khan.
I never played against Mike Braley or Imran Khan, so for me it had to be Mark Taylor.
Mark Taylor is a good captain.
Yeah, Mark Taylor was a great captain. I just thought I loved the way he was equanimous. You never really knew on his face, you know, whether they were losing or winning. I think he was brilliant at it.
You're a bit like that.
Some days, maybe, some days not.
Favorite non-cricket sportsman in India? Leander Paes, Mahesh Bhupati, Sania Mirza, or Baichung Bhutia?
I think both Leander and Mahesh have done a lot for Indian tennis, and I think they've sort of given Indian tennis a huge name over these things. I'm also a big fan of people like Vishwanathan Anand, Major Rathore for what he's done. So yes, I mean some great sportsmen. P.T. Usha, growing up as a young kid, watching her do well in the Asian Games.
So she's your favorite?
Yeah, she was definitely growing up. I mean, you watched P.T. Usha and some of the hockey players. Yes.
And your favorite actress, Bollywood actress?
I don't watch much Bollywood.
Come on, tell us the truth.
Oh, God. I don't know, man. I was young, maybe Juhi Chawla or Kajol.
Playing it safe, when I was young. Ask some, do you believe him? You must have a favorite.
No!
Okay. Where do you prefer to play, Bangalore or Nagpur, your wife's hometown ground?
I've had more success in Nagpur, I must admit. I mean, I've had quite a bit of success in Nagpur.
Really?
No, I'd love to actually play in Bangalore and really get a test 100 here someday, but I've had more success, I must admit, in Nagpur.
When you come and play here, you're born and brought up and played all your life here, right?
Yeah. Great memories. This place is fantastic memories for me. As a young kid, it's where I've grown up. I've played so many matches here. Had some great memories here, made some great friends. Shared some really lovely moments of victory and some tough moments of defeat as well. So it's a place that's made you. It's made you who you are. So you must always come here, and it makes me feel good to come here.
And when you walk out and there's 50,000 crowds around, is this the most pressure you face here?
Actually, I don't feel too much pressure with crowds. I've never
But
had
there's so much expectation, the homeboy, everything.
Maybe in some ways I do feel probably people are very familiar here, and I feel at home and comfortable here as well. But somehow I have never really done well in Test cricket here, and so it's something that I'd like to correct.
So that's still to go. Law of averages means it's going to come.
Hopefully someday.
Right. At toss time, do you pray or is your mind totally blank?
At toss time, when the coin goes up, especially if you want to win that toss, and you're praying.
You're praying.
Not praying, but I don't praying, but I'm just. You obviously want to win that. If you want to win a critical toss, then you sort of.
Do you have any superstitions?
Not really. I generally call tails all the time, but it's not a superstition. It's
Any other superstition?
I always put my right pad on first, right cricket
Really?
pad. Yeah, but that's a habit. It's sort of been a habit and something I've done always, so that's what I do always.
Last two questions from the emails. When do you get the most flack from your teammates? When you lose a toss when it's a beautiful batting pitch, or when you give a speech to them?
I think they're sick and tired of hearing me speak to them. The toss I think is not in my hands, but maybe giving them a speech is in my hands, so I could sort of, they could say at least cut that short.
Finally, what is the best compliment a teammate has ever given you?
I think every time you win a game and you win a game for your team with the bat, you go back in and just the sort of respect that you get, and everyone sort of comes up and says, well done. I think that's you can't get a better compliment than that. And that's what you play for. I think you play for, you play for that respect in the dressing room and people looking up to you.
Okay, thank you very much, viewers, for all those emails. We'll take a short break, back in just a minute, and now live questions from this intellectual audience, right? Ready?